There was a lot of really good music in 2012. Like, enough to cover 3 episodes of 3 CDs and an EP. Like, we should get into it right now and stop wasting time. So number 9 for 2012 is Eremita by Ijan, and it's just such a focused record. It's astonishing what he's accomplished in the past 2 records, between Angle and After going from a straight sort of black metal feel to After, which got a little experimental with the saxophone, and then Eremita is just it's everything I wanted a record to be out of him. The saxophone doesn't feel gimmicky. It doesn't feel out of place like it did a little bit in After. Like, After's saxophone parts were doubling guitars. They had some melody parts, but it wasn't anything to write home about. It was just kind of like this weird, oh my god, there's a saxophone, even though Shining did it, but, whatever. People are cheap. And so, Eremita just feels like, he wrote in the keyboard parts, he wrote in the saxophone, he wrote in Devin Townsend, he wrote in Jeff Loomis, and it's really interesting to listen to as a whole. It gets sludgy, it gets weird, it gets orchestral, it gets slow, it gets sludgy again because there's lots of sludge everywhere. And it just, overall, really, really good record, really focused. Check it out. Alright, so number 8 for 2012 is Vanitas by Anal Nakrath. It's just such an angry bomb of a record, just from start to finish, just 38 minutes of pure brutality, but not in that way where after 10 minutes you're wondering if you're still listening to the same record or song. It keeps it really, really interesting. The instrumentation, the writing is just great. Mick Kenny does such a damn good job with the tones, with the writing, with the production. It takes it into almost an industrial type area at points where there's some 8-bit type bass drums. There's lots of weird staticky noises, and it works so well for this record. And then Vitriol's on vocals, and he's just Vitriol on vocals, just screaming his balls off. Like at the end of Forging Toward the Sunset, 30-second scream, no breaks, lots of distortion, just screaming. His vocals, his lyrics are just, it's insane to listen to, it's insane to think about. Like, he's just so unbelievably angry. Like, maybe he just purposely stubs his toe before he walks into the studio and, mix it there, and he's like, hey man, what's going on? And he's like, shut the fuck up, not now, we're going into the studio and I'm gonna scream! Like, I don't know what he's angry about, but it's working. Number 7 for 2012 is Colossus by Meshuggah. I'm really not entirely sure there's anything that I can say about Meshuggah that hasn't already been said. It's Meshuggah being Meshuggah once more, but taken more back to the Nothing era, where it's a lot slower, it's a lot more stripped down, I guess, for lack of a better word. It's cool that they invented a genre. That genre kind of got popularized, and they just walked away from it and did their own thing, took on this newer, slower, heavier, more natural, huge sound, and it's working out great for them. The production on this record sounds distinctly not like it was recorded through a ham sandwich and a potato, like Obzen has been, which is great, because I'm really not a huge fan of things sounding like complete and total crap. I love the music on those records, but it just didn't work. This record, they did natural drums, the guitars are run through Cubase 8, it's just all around. I like that they did something completely different, didn't care what anyone thought, and people loved it. When all is said and done, trying again's not worthwhile. Alright, so my third favorite EP this year is Self 2.0 by Christian Alvestam. It's exactly what you think it is, judging by that clip. It's big, cheesy 80s pop done by a death metal legend. I mean, there's big synthesizers, there's reverb drums, there's acoustic guitars, vocal harmonies for days. And it's cool because the EP kind of twists and turns through all these little poppy nuances, but it never really sticks to just being like one specific brand of pop. It closes out too with a cool song. It's just acoustic guitar, a little string section, and some wood blocks. And it kind of hints at more like an Enigma ambient sort of thing. So it's not just pop. It's not just ambience. It's a life of its own. It's Christian Alveston pop is the best way I could describe it to you. And it's going to be stuck in your head probably for the rest of your life. So prepare to piss everybody else off around you because you're going to be singing it just all day. Trust me. Everybody hates me for it. And other stuff too. Partially for that. Next video I'll cover things that are easier to pronounce and bands with less bald lead singers.